I'm talking big picture. What do you feel good about going into the future right now? At a time when you're seeing other teams reset and you're now 2-5 and you don't have a first round pick and you have assets that could get you picks. But you're in, but where it gets awkward is you're in Dennis Allen year 1, right? And the Saints pride themselves on not being too reactive. They pride themselves on operating in a Steelers-like environment where they want to let things play out over time and not panic when things start to go awry. It's why they never even messed with moving on from Sean Payton when, what do you have, 7-9, 3 out of 4 years? I don't think they are seriously entertaining it. And maybe I'm being a bit reactive. Or you tell me if I'm being reactive. I think these are legitimate conversations to have. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a head coach. You don't have a first-round pick. You have assets that people want, and they're at an age where you got to ask yourself, how close are we able to being, how close are we to being able to take advantage of these assets, right? Like Alvin Kamara remains great. Are you going to be able to put a team together behind Kamara to make him relevant, to put him on the stage that he should?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking in my mind as you're talking, I'm going over like position by position and where do you feel good if you're the Saints? And a receiver, if Michael Thomas was on the field, you'd feel good about receiver because you have Olave, even with Jarvis being on a 1-year deal, and you have some secondary pieces that fill in nicely. I think, 4 or 5 receiver, I think you have some nice pieces there. Tight end, you don't feel great about that. Troutman is obviously injured right now. He's had flashes. Taysom, I don't consider him a tight end. Quarterback, I mean, it's pieced together right now. Running back.
You have Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston at quarterback.
Yeah.
You don't have a quarterback.
You don't have one in the future right now.
I thought Jameis could be that guy. He's not that guy.
Alvin Kamara at the running back position, but then, Mark Ingram, although, I still think he has something left. How much is left? And you don't have anything behind him there as far as like a young, up-and-coming someone that you feel good about. You go over
Cam Jordan. Feel awful about Davenport and Turner.
And like
David Onyemata needs to get back on the PEDs.
Offensive line, it's like, okay, well, what's Penning going to do? If you get Penning and then you have Penning, McCoy, Ramczyk, that's pretty good. Pretty good foundation there.
That's true. But even Ramczyk is at that age where if you're hitting reset, that's a very valuable resource that people would give you a lot for. It's just, again, guys, I know I'm being a bit reactive, but it feels very bad right now. And as we've said,
I think because, it's a conversation of the future. You have a lot of aging talent, still
yes,
can help you win games.
And they went all in on this year, like thinking that they were going to be able to win this year, right? That was the whole idea behind giving up the first-round pick for Chris Olave was, what does it matter if you give up the 27th pick, the 26th pick in the draft? Like, is there really that much of a functional difference between that and, the second-round pick? No, but where there is a functional difference is where the Saints sits right now, where you're talking about a top 5 pick. Then now you're giving to an undefeated Philadelphia Eagle team.
Ooh.
And
you've done that so many times in the past because you weren't a bad team, and you're like, look, I'm going to be picking 26th anyways.
That's what I'm saying.
So it worked out for you in years past.
Does Howie Roseman have blackmail on Mickey Loomis, do y'all think? Does he have nudes or some skeletons, some access to some information? Because it almost seems like if you were an alien and you just showed up here on Earth, you would accuse the Saints of trying to prop the Eagles up. Give him CD dues right before the season. Give him the first-round pick, that deal that made no sense to us at the time. Yeah. I don't know. It all sucks.
Just haven't drafted as well the last 3 years. Like, they got by on that 2017 class for a while, but guys like, Turner, Davenport, Olave is definitely a bright spot. He's part of the future, but, you're not getting those good value contracts from your young players.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
And then you'd have more depth because you have veterans kind of coming off the bench. Now the depth is completely gone.
And every elite era in the Peyton Breeze time, every elite run was set up with an elite. Not that you can expect these every year because you cannot, but was set like the 2009 draft class is another one where you just hit on every single guy. 17, mind-blowing when you're talking about, Ramczyk and Kamara and everybody else. So
and in between, too, guys like Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
You've had big misses with your top picks.
I know, dude. I know.
Davenport flashes. I mean, we've seen what potential is there, but obviously staying on the field and being consistent. Peyton Turner, what's our boy Hold Mayo? Couldn't find him with a search warrant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cesar Ruiz, very disappointing. I think in a lot of aspects that those are your first round picks recently, and you missed on a first. Now Trevor Penning, we'll see, injured obviously, and there's some excitement there. It's still probably a little bit of a project. Olave definitely as advertised. He's been great.
Yeah, but that sucks because you're going to waste Olave's rookie contract being bad during a rebuild. That's what it feels like today on October 21st, 2022. And I know, in the NFL, you should be more level-headed. Like, Jake, you can speak that better than I can. It's a long season, professionals, yada, yada, yada. But today it does feel like rebuild is in the future, and that's just an awful place to be as an NFL fan because you don't know how long these things take. The Saints have the added baggage of the fact that they were bad for their entire franchise history outside of this most recent Peyton and Breeze run. I mean, sure, the Dome Patrol and Mora back in the days, you had some success there, but there was always the fear that post Peyton and Breeze, you were going to return to who you were for most of your life, and it feels like you've fallen off the wagon. It feels like you're drinking again, and it's not a good feeling at all. In the chat, it says, yeah, the CD deal should have gotten someone fired. I mean, I kind of agree, dude. Like, I don't care how toxic it was. Figure out a way to make it work at least for the year.
Yeah, I mean, at the time it was a head scratcher, and I know everything that we were told of what it could have become, but now you're 2-5. It's toxic in there already now.
Yeah, exactly. And now, I mean, so what is Dennis Allen's overall record now? I mean, I feel bad for the guy because we all want to escape our past. We all want second chances, but that record is just coming back and haunting him.
10-33, if my math is correct. 8-28 with Oakland, and now 2. I don't know. Math is hard.
So the depressing part about that is without actually sitting down and doing the percentages, that feels like a very similar winning percentage, right? The overall record in Oakland and the 2-5 start feel like about the same winning percentage, which feels like a major red flag.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10-30 basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like a major red flag.
Yeah.
Oh man, boys, I didn't mean to bring it back down. I apologize.
You did.
2 home games here. I'm curious to see the energy kind of in the Superdome.
What up, Noah Rodriguez? Yeah, dude, remember when the Saints used to never lose in the Dome?
That was fun.
It was fun.
I remember.
Member berries. Is that what we're being reduced to? So be getting high on member berries all day, talking about 2009 and 2011. And even this most recent run. I mean, you've had winning seasons every year since, 2017? Like the winningest team in the NFL, along with the Patriots over that time, coming into this year. Sean D says, stop feeling bad for a coach who just can't do it. No, I just mean that I feel bad because, it's just a human empathy thing. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve criticism. He absolutely does. But, we can all appreciate you got an opportunity maybe you weren't prepared for. It wasn't the best environment when you were young. It was your life stream. You failed utterly. You grinded your way back to getting that opportunity once again. And as of now, you are failing utterly once again. That sucks. Just from a human being standpoint. I think we can all appreciate how bad that sucks.